to write parallel and perpendicular lines today given 2 points. So the first step, anytime we need to do this, is we first want to find the slope of the line. So remember, slope is the change in y over the change in x, which is given by y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, if you need to, you can easily make a chart here on the side to help you out so that we don't lose track of anything. I have -4 and 3, and I have -6 and -1. This time I'm going to be circling the y column instead of the x to make sure that I grab him first. Usually your eye is going to go to like the little bit more, and that's where I'm going to go. So my slope is going to equal y2, I'm going to use this one, -1 minus 3 over -6 minus a -4. -1 minus 3 is going to be -4. This is going to become a positive, so that's going to be -2. Remember that two negatives become a positive, so my slope is 2 over 1, but we'll just write it as 2. So what I always have students do to keep track of what they're doing is they're going to write me the slope, which is 2, the parallel slope, that's parallel, is 2, and the perpendicular slope is -1 over 2. Remember that when you take a perpendicular, you take its negative reciprocal, meaning flip the number over and give it a negative sign. So a positive becomes a negative, and a negative becomes a positive. Now, if I wanted to write the parallel line, through point 68, then I would pull that slope. So I use this slope, and we're going to use our point slope form. So we have y2 minus y1 equals m times x2 minus x1. These y2 and x2s really are just y's. So we're going to rewrite like this. We've already calculated our slope, and that is going to be 2, because we want parallel, so we go find the parallel slope. Y minus parentheses, our y1 is this guy now, 8. Sorry. Equals the slope 2, x minus 6. And this is a pretty straightforward problem because we don't have a fraction. So I'm going to have y minus 8 equals 2x minus 12. To move the 8 to the other side, I need to add 8 to both sides. So I'm going to finish with y equals 2x minus 4. Remember that this is the slope, so I should be finishing exactly with what I started with, which I did. And this portion is the y-intercept. All right? If I were to graph this right now, I would go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I would go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. And that would be the equation of the line. Now that we've done parallel, we're also going to do perpendicular. So when I look at perpendicular, okay, I'm going to just write myself a note what I'm up to here. So I've got perpendicular through 5, -2. All right, so step 1, write down point slope form. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Go find the slope related, so we're using the slope of -1 over 2. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to say y minus y1 is -2 equals our slope from the other page, -1/2, x minus 5. I'm going to go through and simplify what I can. So I have y plus 2 equals negative 1/2 x minus 5. Now, what's important here is this step is the point slope equation. So if I needed to leave something in point slope, this is the equation I'm going to use. But I'm going to keep moving on. Now, I don't want to run this through, so I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 2. 2 times y is 2y. 2 times 2 is 4. The 2's will cross out to give me a negative 1, x minus 5. 2y equals negative x plus 5 minus 4. 2y is negative x plus 1. And divide by 2, y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1/2. This would now be my slope-intercept equation. So let's look at a few things. First, did you finish with the slope you were started with? Yes? Good stuff. Double check the point works. So this is kind of the check of the problem. So I have negative 2 equals negative 1/2 times 5 plus 1/2. Negative 2 equals negative 5 over 2 plus 1 over 2. Negative 2 equals negative 4 over 2. And negative 2 equals negative 2. So it did come out exactly as I expected. Now I can also graph my line. And I'm going to graph the point. So right here, I got the y-intercept is 1/2. Oops. Except I need to put it in the right place. Excuse me. 1/2. And I'm going to go down a half. So this one is kind of, I'm going down the 1 and right 2. Down 1 and right 2. Down 1 and right 2. So that's kind of a hard when we're on a fractional portion, but it still works out fine. So let's kind of look at all the things we covered today. How to find the slope of a line given 2 points. Using that slope and finding the parallel and perpendicular. Using point slope form and a point to create a new line. And doing the same thing over here and going perpendicular through it. We practiced graphing 2 separate lines. And we've also discussed both point slope and slope intercept forms. Good luck.